Imagine waking up to find out that your taxes done changed, your health care is at risk, your job might be in jeopardy, the national debt is about to increase by trillions. You don't know why or how. Well, that just happened. HR 1, this one big beautiful bill that Trump has been tooting, is going to affect your wallet. It's going to affect your health care. It's going to affect your job. It's going to affect this country's future. And I'm going to break it all down for y'all tonight. Let me tell you something. I'm not sugarcoating it. This thing got some good stuff in it, it seems like, but it's going to do some massive damage. And I think that we need to have a discussion tonight on It's Culture. Let's get it.
We gon' always win. Promise that that's not a promise, yeah, that is a threat. You know that I promise to bring the team commas. When the whole team win, that's when you flex. Win, and I'ma do it again. Watch me win, then watch me do it again. Tell 'em I can't take.
Welcome back to the channel. I think tonight I got the audio working like it's supposed to. I see people coming in. Come on in. Yeah, y'all. We got some stuff to talk about this bill. We really got to talk about this bill that just got passed by Congress, because this thing is going to affect all of us. I don't know what the Republicans were thinking. Trump said that he wasn't going to do some cuts, and these cuts have come. And we're going to give an analysis of this bill. It's over 1,000 pages of a bunch of crap that they done packaged together. They done called it the one big, beautiful bill. It's got tax changes. It's got healthcare cuts. It's got immigration spending. It's got defense spending. And it just passed through Congress. Now, the House passed this bill back in May. And then it went to the Senate. The Senate chopped it up, changed a little bit of the jargon in it. And then they turned around and sent it back over to the House. And they went and voted on this thing for the last couple of days. And finally today, in the narrowest of margins, it passed. And if this is your first time tuning in to my show, my name is Mark Stevenson. This is It's Culture. I talk about sports, politics, entertainment, trending topics, you name it. I cover it. But for tonight, we're dealing in what I like to talk about, which is politics, because this is what affects all of us, and definitely affects the culture. I'm gonna break this thing down. I'm not gonna give y'all all this legal jargon. I'm gonna do this thing in plain English so everybody can understand, because overstand, understand, however you understand. I'm gonna get my spin on it, because I think it's important that y'all understand what's in this bill, who this bill benefits, who loses out on this bill, what it means for your wallet, right? What it means for your health, this country's future. So buckle up, get you a cup. I got me one over here, my red Solo cup. We're not talking about being festive on for 4th of July. We about to get into some politics tonight. So what's in so if you haven't subscribed, hit the like button, share button, subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can get the updates when I do these. Also, the comment section, if you want to chat in, tap into the comments. I'm using this new feature tonight that's going to show the comments live in real time. So if you want to chime in, hit the chime in button if you're tuning in on YouTube, if you're on Twitch, if you're on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. I appreciate y'all tuning in and rocking with me. So what's in HR 40, right? This is a massive reconciliation bill, y'all. Taxes, defense, healthcare, all wrapped up in one bill. They normally don't do them like this. Most of the times they piecemeal stuff together, but this is one big bill all together, encompassing a bunch of stuff. Like I said earlier, back in May, the House actually passed this bill. It went to the Senate. JD Vance had to squeeze it through the other day because they made some changes to it. So he had to be the tie-breaking vote. They had some Republicans that defected, voted against it. And then it went to the House, and they had some problems in the House trying to get it passed. It went up. He had a lot of Republicans that was pushing back on this bill. Hakeem Jeffries, he did his thing. I got to give him props. He somehow or another, he whipped the votes to block it a few times and held on today to set the record for the longest time of actually speaking on the floor to halt the bill in the House. But ultimately, it passed by the narrowest of margins, y'all. It passed by the narrowest of margins. So this thing going to Trump's desk, and he's probably going to end up signing it. He's in Iowa tonight. So he's going to end up signing this bill, and this thing going to become law, and it's going to affect all of us. There's some key tax provisions in this thing. So Trump had these tax cuts back in 2017 that he implemented. They're bringing these Trump era tax cuts back. So what does those tax cuts do? It affects the middle class, the upper middle class households. Pretty much ain't gonna be touched. I think it's at like 25%. I got a chart here that I'm gonna show y'all. So this is the chart right here. Hold on. These are tax brackets. Those are spending cuts. Here's the tax brackets right here. So if y'all see the tax brackets, before is the yellow. After this bill got signed is the orange. So anybody making pretty much, if you're making less than $160,000 annually, it really don't affect you as far as the tax cuts. These tax cuts affect people who make above $160,000 a year. It brings their rate down to 30% from about 33%. And then it kind of does the same thing. You see, it kind of drops it for if you make over 204,000, it drops it down to about 33% from 35. And if you make, if you was making above 510K a year, you'll be taxed about 37.5%. So this is going to bring this down to 35%. So, and if you're in that 22% to 24% tax bracket right here, the 40,000 to about 160,000 bracket, this rate ain't going back up no time soon. It's basically gonna stay right there. So you can pretty much guarantee that you're gonna be flattened at about this tax rate. It also caps what they consider which is a standard deduction, y'all. They consider that thing SALT. So if you live in states like New York, New Jersey, California, the standard local tax deduction right now is about $10,000. That's what it is. It's not about, it's actually $10,000. So this is going to raise this up to $40,000 for families earning less than $500,000. Now that is actually an absolute big win for y'all. And the reason why is because it's gonna allow for more deductions on your state taxes, because it's giving you a higher rate. So a lot of people in New York, New Jersey, they have been wanting this to happen. these high states where the taxes are high as hell. Um, they wanted this rate to come back up, and so this is going up to $40,000. So and then it's going to cap the tax on tips for waiters, bartenders, nurses, anybody clocking overtime at 25,000. So the first 25,000 gets taxed, and then everything after that is capped at that. So if you work a lot of overtime, you're gonna see a real benefit here. You're really gonna see a real good benefit here. If you're overtime, somebody who clocks a lot of overtime, if you're in construction and you got one of those jobs where you're doing a lot of overtime, and so after $25,000, you're not being taxed on that overtime no more. So and that's pretty much what it falls into the category with the actual taxes, because if you're a lower income earner, this don't do anything for you at all. You're not gonna be itemizing anything else. So you probably ain't gonna be feeling no changes if you don't really make a lot of, if you're not really in the middle class or upper middle class, wage earners who do a lot of overtime. You're probably not gonna see a lot of these benefits when it comes to this. But some people are going to see significant tax deductions, and so they can itemize. So we're looking at lower taxes. We're looking at some bigger deductions for the state and local deductions for those higher states where the state taxes are high as hell, and a little help for overtime and tip workers. But this thing, it benefits mostly the middle and upper middle class. But it don't do nothing for poor people. It don't do nothing. It's gonna take money away. So, but this money got to go somewhere, y'all. And there's some cuts coming, and there's a lot of spending going on. First, the military. We always got money for war, but we never got money to feed the poor. That Tupac said that a long time ago. And that still reigns true. We always got money for war. We got money. We got money for missiles. We got money for to sit overseas to foreign countries to fight their wars. We always got money. This is going to add some more money into the budget for the defense. Another $150 billion is going into defense spending. A large substantial investment in missile defense. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff with missile defense, drone technology, and then they're going to be doing some things to strengthen our position against China in the South China Sea and the Indo-Pacific. So they're really going to be ramping it up against China while we in this quote unquote proxy trade war with China. We're going to be spending money there. It also, when it comes to immigration and border enforcement, they're pumping another $170 billion into border security. They want to finish the wall, so they're putting $170 billion in for the wall. More detention centers, more immigration courts. And they got a goal, and they're going to be putting resources to it. Now, here's the thing. They're trying to deport 1 million people per year. That is their goal. They want to pump resources in to deport 1 million people a year. So that is one thing that we'll see on in this bill. 1 million people getting deported a year. They also are lowering the cost down for like green cards and visa applications. So they're lowering the cost. So some people are going to be coming in the country because they're lowering the fees, and they're going to be deporting others. But the biggest focus with these is enforcement stuff, because that's really what it's spending this money at. It's going to be a lot of money invested in enforcement of immigration laws. Like I said, immigration courts, because they're going to be having more immigration judges to process asylum claims. and then everybody else is going to be getting deported up out of here. I don't know how they think, it's 12 million people here, illegally. That's what they had the estimates at. So I think they're trying to get rid of everybody else because Trump has been deporting people left and right. So I don't know what the number is right now to how many Trump has done, but I know that they are going around tooting that there's 0 border crossings happening right now. So y'all do with that what you will. But while they doing all that spending, they got to cut somewhere. And I want to show y'all this because this is what they're doing. And as much as Trump went around on the campaign trail talking about he wasn't going to never touch Medicaid, we have always known that Republicans wanted to touch Medicaid. And y'all see my little thing, 1.2 trillion. Okay, if it's 1,200, because I got it in amounts of billions, but I want y'all to see this is 1,200 billion, which is actually 1.2 trillion dollars is being cut for Medicaid. They cutting Medicaid by 1.2 trillion dollars. As much as they have been saying that they're not going to touch it, well, Trump was, they are touching it. So the Republicans are doing exactly what everybody said they were going to do. They're doing it. And this is happening over the next decade. So over the next decade, they came out with some new work requirements for you to be on Medicaid. So if you're a Medicaid recipient, or somebody who's a Medicaid recipient, and you are between the ages of 19 and 64, you're going to have to go to work or do something that qualifies for 80 hours per month. So that means if you work part-time, 20 hours a week, but you have to qualify 80 hours a month. You have to be doing something that they have on their list in order for you to be able to qualify for Medicaid. So if you were somebody who sat at home and didn't do anything, not anymore. If you're between the ages of 19 and 64, unless you got some extenuating circumstances, childcare issues, health issues. They do have like some disqualifier, some things that can that you can qualify for if need to, given your condition. But they tightening down on the eligibility. They are tightening down on the eligibility. There was a study done on this that says about $334 billion is going to be cut for Medicaid because of this new work requirement. I don't know if that's a good thing or that's a bad thing. But what I do know is I saw a video on World Star Hip Hop a week ago, and I wish I had the clip. It seemed like, I don't know if this thing was staged. I don't know if it was, somebody was just making it just for clicks and things, but it seemed like a little young man had came in the room to his mama and said that he wanted to get a job. And she said he couldn't get no job because if he got a job, then she wouldn't qualify for certain benefits, and that welfare was the lick for black people. Now, I don't know if that was just some, video just to go viral so people can make content, because we know how that goes. People just be doing videos just to be doing them. It's skits. But if that was the case, that is no more. You're not gonna be able to sit at home and collect any type of benefit when it comes to Medicaid and all that, because they cutting away from that. You're gonna have to go to work. 19 to 64. If you are working able-bodied and you want to qualify for Medicaid, you're gonna have to do 80 hours of qualifying work per month in order to qualify for it. It got some clean energy tax credits getting cut. Y'all see that? Energy cuts. That's the green stuff. They're cutting back on that. Trump's motto, drill, baby, drill. So they cutting back on this clean energy stuff that was expanded up under Biden. So they cutting back about $300 billion, between $200 and $300 billion is being cut from clean energy. They don't care nothing about the environment. They don't care nothing about the environment. Uh, but they are doing something on for rural communities. Something that hasn't been done pretty much in a long time, because the rural communities don't be getting no funding. So they are giving $50 billion for rural hospitals, because uh, these people have been complaining that they don't have access to health care. So they are putting $50 billion into rural hospitals. I wish that they would have taken some of the money from this defense budget and put it over there, and maybe gave a little more. Maybe $150 billion could have went to rural hospitals, but they are getting $50 billion. They're gonna be some tweaks to SNAP, food stamps, and some agriculture programs. Um, that section is kind of like a mixed bag. It's a bunch of crap. Okay, it's a bunch of pork in there. Um, so we got for this bill, we got more defense spending, we got more border security, we got less money invested in clean energy, less money in Medicaid, new requirements to qualify for Medicaid, and some assistance and some help for some rural areas when it comes to uh, hospitals. I mean, it kind of this thing kind of flips up. So on one side, you kind of looking at it, and you're like, okay, well, they are doing things that they said they were going to do as far as like border security, defense. Yeah, rural hospitals, okay, but Medicaid, God, dog, it's just gutting it. Energy, they don't care enough about clean energy. And that's what Elon Musk was really mad about, because he gets a lot of tax credits for creating them Teslas. So because they cutting back on energy, clean energy stuff, that affects his bottom line when it comes to his Tesla vehicles. So that's why he was pissed off about this. And that's why he was making a big noise last month, him and Trump getting into it, because that he saw that this was about to happen, even though Trump said that Elon knew that these cuts were happening. So we're looking at these cuts. This bill is estimated to add about 2.4 to 3.3 trillion dollars to the deficit over the next decade. So we're gonna be adding more money to the deficit. And this was already projected. I mean, if you actually look at what happens when they project out, they already know what the debt ceiling is going to be. They already got it projected out past 2035. So the debt ceiling rises every single year. Excuse me, every single year. So this is going to add about $3.3 trillion to it. So it's not saving us no money. It's still adding to the deficit. Republicans and Democrats alike, they add to the deficit. Nobody's slashing nothing, and we just still don't know what the tariffs are doing, because we don't have nothing to measure it by. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at more debt, less money to Medicaid, Medicare, clean energy, more to rural hospitals, defense, and border security. And this bill, the Medicaid stuff will take action in 2026. So, and they are cutting benefits to illegals, to people who are in the country illegally. They're cutting. They're not going to be able to qualify for Medicaid no more. That's another $300 billion that they're cutting out of it. So if you're on Medicare, they can see reduced benefits. They can see higher costs over the next couple of years. But it also does raise the debt ceiling, permanently raises the debt ceiling, and at least for right now, higher debt cuts. What are we doing here, man? This is long term. This is for the long term. But this is what we voted for, right? This is what people voted for. This is what we get this one big beautiful bill. Um, yeah, yeah, you see that? Yeah, yeah, over $1.5 trillion in cuts to Medicaid and energy alone. Yep. Trump said he wasn't gonna do it though. He said he wasn't gonna do it. We're not touching Medicaid. We're not touching Medicaid. We're not touching Medicaid. And his bill touches Medicaid. I don't know how how he didn't see this. I honestly didn't. I honestly did not know how he didn't see this coming. Didn't know how he see this coming. Because if you man, if you rely on Medicaid for your health care, my heart goes out to you because I remember when my mom was in her final days before she passed away last October. She came to live with me and she was on Medicaid. And I remember having to try to get all that stuff switched over and having to, have all these forms and having to fill this stuff out. My mom was stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, triple negative, and she was terminal. And and she came to stay with me, to be hospice here. And I remember the Medicaid stuff and the income requirements. I'm like, if you make more than like $2,100 a month, if you got that coming in from all types of resources, then you don't qualify for Medicaid. I'm like, that's less than like $24,000 a year. I'm like, who the hell is living off of that? But my mom was, because all she had was Social Security and Medicaid. She was a seamstress her entire life. She didn't have like a retirement 401k or nothing. She just worked with her hands until she couldn't work anymore. So she didn't have that. So I remember having to go through and try to get the forms, get it all transferred over, all this stuff. Medicaid is not easy to navigate that system. And for people who don't understand how to do all that stuff, you be sending stuff in, and next thing you know, you don't qualify for nothing, because they even want your life insurance policies. They want to see if you got cash value in your policies. Like, what does life insurance got to do with healthcare? You know what I'm saying? But they counting all that stuff. All your bank accounts. They want to see how much money you got in your bank accounts, savings accounts. And if they have some little formula that they came up with, don't nobody know the formula, or don't and I really don't understand the income requirement. Why is it so low? Because I just don't understand how you can live off of $24,000 or less. That's like poverty. That's like below the poverty line. Elderly people, because they got Social Security. So if you got a 401k and you trying to qualify with Social Security and you got a 401k, chances are you're not going to qualify for Medicaid when you become 65 years old. You're just not. You're just not going to qualify for it. You're not. So, that's what's going on with this bill. And as much as, it's 1,000 pages, y'all. 1,000 pages. We got to watch what these politicians are doing. If you got somebody that on Medicaid and they need it, you should be raising holy hell as to why there's cuts coming. Republicans cannot hide behind it. They're not cutting Medicaid, because they are. Excuse me. They can sit up there and say it's strengthening, it's reducing race, waste and fraud. Nah, they're kicking people off of Medicaid. They're kicking people off of Medicaid. They're trying to get people back to work. Okay. You do 80 hours of work, 20 hours a week. You make more than $2,100 a month. You ain't qualified for Medicaid. You ain't qualified for Medicaid. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all like these bill breakdowns? What's going on in the bills? Y'all let me know what y'all think. If y'all want me to do more I have no problem doing this. I love breaking down bills, going through them and looking at them, and giving an analysis, coming up like charts and stuff. Because I think it's important in this day and age that we be, you know, not just socially conscious but politically conscious. We got to understand what our politicians are signing on. You know what we are voting for, and what our politicians are doing with the money. Because if not, you start seeing your taxes going up. You think you about to qualify for something and find that you're not qualified for it no more. Or your parents were qualifying for something and they telling you now that they ain't qualified for it no more. They don't get it no more. You need to understand where this thing came from. Um, this bill passed with the narrowness of margins. So you can go look up your legislator, your state senator, your senators, both of them, and your congressperson. Go look them up. Go. You can go online and go look at how they voted on this bill. And if you don't agree with anything that I just showed you, I'm gonna put it back up there again, because this is what this bill does. Okay, this is what this bill does right here. All right, this is major spending. This is what this bill does. It cuts defense. I mean, it raises defense spending, raises more money for border enforcement. It cuts Medicaid. It cuts clean energy, and gives money to rural hospitals. That's what the bill does. So if you are somebody who don't agree with that stuff, then you need to be reaching out to your politician to find out why they voted yes on this. It is time that they be held accountable to their constituents. Some of the Republicans didn't vote yes on this. Like I said, it slims the margins. It might have been a political ploy. They may have already known that they had enough votes to get it across the finish line. But President Trump is about to get this bill and sign this thing into law, and it's going to affect all of us. It's going to affect all of us. So I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. Like I said, if y'all appreciate these bill breakdowns and y'all want me to do these more, just let me know. I have no problem breaking down the bills, because I think that we should understand what our politicians are voting for, because we're voting for them. And that is the only way that we can come together as a nation, because we have to understand how these things affect all of us and stop falling for the dog and pony show. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I don't care about either party. I care about what my money is being spent on and what my tax dollars is being spent on. And you should too. So like, share, and subscribe in the comment section. Until next time, I'm probably going to go live Sunday night. You all have a great 4th of July, if that's what you're celebrating. If not, if you don't celebrate 4th of July and you just a Juneteenth person, hey, enjoy the day off. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.